on the training ground.
I mean, to be fair, there isn't really a lot of time for anybody to do anything at the moment. Where you've got the likes of Amazon and all these box sets and Netflix. There's just so many hours in the day that you can sort of devote to doing things,
Yeah,
just doing things. There's
yeah,
only 24 hours in a day, and you're probably sleeping for 8 or 9 hours of those. So, add
exactly.
Narcos in, a few box sets, and
That's right. Line of
there's no time.
duty.
There's
Yeah.
no time for
No,
anything on the training
no,
pitches.
there isn't. Yeah,
But
yeah. I mean, Peppa Pig takes up a lot of time.
but the funny thing is, I found when obviously Mourinho started the job, João Sacramento came in, this allegedly amazing football mind that had come up with a new, not a new philosophy, but a new take on Mourinho's defensive way, the counter attacking way of playing, and apparently,
Mhm.
João's vision built on what Mourinho's football was based upon previously, where he's had so much success. But I don't know what the fuck that is. I haven't seen any evidence of it, and I've said before, the football's just so Jekyll and Hyde. One week we'll sit back
Mm.
surprisingly and not do anything, and then the next week we're attacking, and
Okay.
there seems to be some sort of not confu. Yeah, I suppose we don't have an identity. We just sort of make it up as we're making it up as we're going along. But does an identity mean that you're going to win football week in, week out, or do you have to adapt to should we be playing fast flowing football from Poch, or do
Well,
you
that's
take it
right.
on a game, or do you take it on a game to day basis and adapt as to who your opponents are? Yeah, I'm all over the place with it. I just don't know. I
So
just don't know
come
anymore.
on, Pete. You know all the inside information. What happens in Daniel Levy's office? What's going to happen? Is he going to keep Jose, or is he gonna stick, or is he going to twist?
I always, up until the Zagreb game, I would have said he was going to stick. I think he would. I was certainly quoted as saying he will wait until the League Cup final. He'll wait and see what position we get in the league.
Yeah.
After Zagreb, my attitude towards Jose has changed. I would
Mm.
like to see him out of the club.
Mm.
Realistically, I can't see that happening before the end of the season. I could possibly see it on the 25th of April, losing to Man City.
Which is quite likely.
It is likely. Stranger things have happened, and
Yeah,
I'm an eternal optimist.
Yes, tell me all. Yeah,
Yeah, we've seen it before. You remember that
Mm.
game semi-final against Portsmouth? It was so dire at Wembley.
Oh God,
And then
yeah.
we bounced
We were
back and
so
beat,
convinced, weren't we?
yeah, and then bounced back and beat Chelsea and Arsenal.
Yeah,
So
madness.
anything can happen. Genuinely, I think there's some twitchiness around the club at the moment.
Mm.
I think certainly some of the comments that Jose has made have rubbed up a few of the players.
Mm. So that must have upset the board as well, I would imagine, because anything that can potentially sully the brand of Spurs or cause
Damage the value.
problems.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
the
difficult
NFL
thing.
don't want to get caught up in a club that's got all these problems going on, do they?
No, but Daniel knows that he made that decision to appoint Jose. He knows it will be a very expensive decision to reverse.
Yeah.
He has always been a big admirer of Jose.
Yeah.
Whether he's now beginning to regret that decision or not, only he will know. It would not surprise me if they started thinking about a successor for the start of next season.
Hmm.
Don't ask me who that would be. I've absolutely no
Well,
idea.
that's right.
Your guess is as good as anybody's. But if we don't get Champions League, if we scrape Europa, and as everybody expects us to lose against City, is that what we bought Mourinho in for? The answer is quite clearly no, it's not.
No, that's right.
And the question would be, in Daniel's mind, whether he felt it would be right to continue for another 12 months, go through a transfer window, bring in some of Jose's agent's buddies, and then have to kick him out 6 months down the line and be left with a load of players he can't get rid of again.
Exactly. I think that is a real important point, isn't it? This summer, if he does stick with Jose, he's got to back him. That's the problem. He knows he's got to back him. Otherwise, it's going to be business as usual, isn't it?
Yeah, but business as usual, unfortunately, in the current climate, is the fact that, one, we haven't got a great deal of money to splash out. We're not going to be buying £100 million players. And two, if you're looking to move players on, they have to want to move on. And Daniel has said on more than one occasion to us, you can't make a player go if they don't want to.
Yeah, that's the problem. Yeah.
Mr. Rose, would you like to go and play at Newcastle? Would you like to go and play at QPR? No, I'll stay on what I'm earning. I'll see my contract out.
Yeah.
And you're stuck in that scenario, which isn't great. But to be fair, Daniel, you signed his contract.
Yeah,
so
of course.
You've got to realise the likelihood of that happening.
No, absolutely. Yeah, once it's signed and sealed, I think those players' contracts are watertight, aren't they?
Yeah. So a lot of people speculate, we're going to have a good clear out, whoever the manager is, we've got a transfer window coming up, get rid of 6 players and then we'll buy 3 or 4 in. Well, get real, that's not going to happen.
That's right. That's playing Football Manager. That's not running a football club. Yeah. No, exactly. Yeah. Okay, well, I don't think we know what the answers are, but it's going to be an interesting time ahead over the next few weeks.
Indeed.
So, that kind of moved us on quite nicely to what we just were talking about, Jose and the League Cup final. So, as we recently found out over the last few hours, there's going to be 8,000 fans allowed into the Cup final. Pete, is that right?
Yeah. Let's take a step back. We started seeing rumours in the press that had some substance probably about 3 or 4 weeks ago, saying the EFL wanted to use the League Cup final as one of the pilot events, test events. Wembley were obviously keen on that as well, was to gradually ramp up attendances towards the Cup final and obviously onto the Euros. So when we first saw this idea that it was going to be 8,000 tickets, it was, that's going to be fun, isn't it? What are we going to get? We're clearly not going to get 4,000 each.
Yeah.
And then the rumour was there were going to be 2,000 for local residents of Brent and 2,000 for key workers. So a lot was happening behind the scenes that we weren't privy to. And to be fair, neither were the football club. The EFL, the FA, Wembley Stadium and the government obviously had this earmarked as a potential test event.
Yeah.
The EFL were keen on getting it done. I think the government were less keen because they saw the FA Cup semi-finals as the main test events. But the EFL managed to persuade the government. The frustrating thing from our point of view, and also from Tottenham and from Man City, to be fair, is the fact that none of the clubs have really been involved in that decision-making process. So we and THFC and Manchester City still don't know how many tickets they're going to get, although it's been publicised they're going to get 2,000 each. I understand there's a meeting the EFL have called with both clubs tomorrow at 9:30, so we might get some further information in the next 24 hours. So the club don't even know how many tickets they're going to get. We have lobbied them to say, one, we would like that to be done, allocated on priority points.
Okay.
We realise that there will be a slice for premium ticket holders, sponsors, etc., out of that. That's inevitable with every game that we had, even the two behind closed doors. We did ask for details and figures for those two, the North London Derby and the Europa League game, but the club weren't prepared to give us those figures. Right. So we don't know how many out of that potential 2,000 tickets would actually go to true fans, nor have the club as yet committed themselves to follow their own terms and conditions, which say that the tickets should go and be allocated for cup finals on priority points, ticketing points.
Oh, really? Okay.
So that decision hasn't been made.
Do you have a gut feel what the percentage is between corporate, premium and general?
I would, from figures that I'd seen before, it's between 10 and 15%.
Okay.
So that's players, relatives, staff, sponsors, premiums.
So with 2,000, you haven't got a lot of room to move with anyway, have you?
So, no, not a lot at all. Not a lot at all.
Yeah.
500 bloggers.
That's always shown up, and there's always the look who's got
Trustboard.
Well, out of the Trustboard, only one of us got to either of the two games. I had a phone call. I was offered a ticket at 12 o'clock the day of the Europa League game, and I couldn't make it. And one of our board actually got in on the ballot, got a ticket in the North London derby, so he was there for that. So, no, that isn't the case. We don't get any preferential treatment, unfortunately.
I'm sure some people think you do. But
I'm sure they do. And I'm sure if my face appears on the camera at Wembley, it'll be, oh, look, there he is. The fact that I've got close to 500 loyalty points, is not here nor there.
No, that's right. Yeah.
Having been home and away for, sort of best part of 5 seasons.
Yeah, exactly.
We've just published a tweet which... basically sets out something like 36 questions that we haven't got answers to. So it's not just how many tickets we get, how that ticketing will be, but it's also things about how do you actually get a ticket? Is it going to be an e-ticket?
Yeah.
What happens to those potentially 2,000 tickets that go to key workers? How are you going to control those falling into the hands of a tout?
Yeah, totally.
Okay. It looks like there's a massive great list of terms and conditions and Q&As on the Wembley site about the test events. And one of the things in that, you will need to have evidence of a negative COVID test before the game and to get into the game if you have a ticket. And also that you will be obliged to sign a code of conduct and that you will be obliged to sign acknowledging that there is a risk that you could catch COVID.
Good grief.
There's also...
they're bound to do that.
They would ask you as well to have a test after the event as well. Yeah. So to see, it's being a test event, it's also a real lab trial.
In 8,000 people, you're a guinea pig, aren't you?
8,000 guinea pigs together to see if you catch COVID.
The thing is, though, how do you prove that you've had a test? I mean, normally when you get a test, you just get a result back from the government, either like an email or something, and that could be forged. So
that's right. I mean, I've got the NHS app. I've also got a private app called a Zoe app where I report my condition every day, which is like a fact-finding app, which is used. Yeah. And I've logged on, certainly on the Zoe app, that I've had a test in the past, that I've had my first vaccination. But anybody could have that app.
Yeah, of course.
It's got my name on it. I think there was some talk, I was reading through, I really ought to have better things to do on an Easter Sunday morning, but I was reading through the government website because they published a whole host of data and information about these new tests 9 o'clock this morning when they announced the fact it was going to be a test event. So there's some things on there whereby everybody will be able to get access to a COVID test twice a week, free of charge.
Yep, from this Friday.
Yeah, and then they're talking about that being recorded in some way on the NHS app.
But isn't the NHS app anonymous? I thought all the data that goes from the NHS app is anonymous, so they're going to have to. So you're going to have to actually log in, aren't you? If that's the case.
Yeah, check into a venue, and if I suppose I can enter a test result on there with a code.
Yeah.
whether it knows that, it must know it's me somehow. But,
from the code itself, I guess.
Yeah. But to look at that and hand it over to someone just before you have your ticket scanned to go into the stadium, how's that going to work?